Does anybody else out there hate spiders? Well, I don't. Wait, what? But this video is going to show you guys how to get a very fast Araxxor kill. You could easily get sub 2-minute kills with this method, so hopefully for the people that do not like spiders, they can be spending as little time in the cave as possible. Alright guys, so before we get into this video, I do want to go over some very important things here. The first one is going to be, if you come over here into the Beasts tab and you go to Araxxor, you can see we currently have the darkness path blocked. This is the ideal rotation to be doing Araxxor, but the only thing that's actually required, if you come over here, is just making sure that path 1 is open. But the reason I say to have darkness be blocked is because if you have darkness active, he can sometimes, or I mean, he will always do the spider minion attack whenever the final phase starts. Like his first special after that phase is always going to be spider minions. Whereas if the acid path is open, he can sometimes pull acid first instead of doing the spider minions, which will make that phase just a little bit easier, especially if you like make a mistake and you do get that mechanic. So definitely keep that in mind, but like I said, the only thing that's actually required for this method is going to be the spider minion path, or path 1, opened. Alright guys, so to quickly go over the preset, as for the relics, you probably only really need Fury of the Small and then Conservation of Energy or Heightened Senses. If you don't have the Archaeology level for Conservation of Energy, you can replace this with Heightened Senses, but Conservation is obviously just a little bit better. For the Familiar, we just use a Calgarian Demon. Araxxor doesn't take Familiar damage, so we might as well just get the critical strike chance from the Calgarian. For the gear setup, it is somewhat specific what we have here. As you can see, we do have 4 pieces of the Vestments of Havoc. I find this to be pretty important. We do really want to be getting our adrenaline up to 120%, just to be getting out our overpower and our assault easily. If you don't have this, it'll make it a little bit more difficult. You'll probably have to be a little bit more perfect with your ability usage, and this armor just makes it so you can pretty much just use these abilities for free with like 1 basic attack, so that's why I like to use them. It's obviously the best melee gear that I have. And then your gloves and ring aren't really that important, I don't think. I would probably just use like a Reaver's ring. For the melee weapon, you can see I start the kill off with a Dragon Battle Axe. This is extremely important for this method. Basically, what we do here is, because the first phase, we can kind of just stand around and do nothing the whole time, we can start the kill with a Dragon Battle Axe in our hand and a shield of some kind, and then just sit there and use defensives for free. And then as soon as it gets to about 65% burn, we just use the Dragon Battle Axe spec and then build back up to 120%. It boosts our damage for free basically, and it seems to be pretty much required in order to get consistent kills here, or skips here. So definitely be bringing that. We are also going to need a Zuck Cape. We need to be getting that big 60,000 overpower hit with the Zuck Cape, so definitely be getting this. We also need to have Chaos Roar. It's not mentioned in this portion, but we pair the Chaos Roar with the overpower to be guaranteeing it hits 60,000 damage, so definitely be getting that as well. For the EOF that we use, I just use a D-Claw EOF. There are probably other EOFs you could use here. We don't really need the EOF, it's just kind of extra damage in the final phase. And then we are also using the Berserker Aura. Obviously the name of the game is DPS, and the Berserker Aura is pretty much just unparalleled when it comes to damage output, so definitely be using that. We also use a Grimoire. I don't think this is required, I guess, but it does help a lot with consistency to be getting those critical strikes. You probably could use like a full book, or even the new book, the Scripture of Amaskit, probably would be fine as well, but I think the Grimoire is probably the most consistent. For the inventory, you can see we have a 2H and our dual wield Lang switch. I would highly suggest bringing a 2H switch. It's not necessary, but you absolutely are going to need Langs for this. The Langs are really good here. The special attack costs 0 adrenaline, so it's really good to use it once your adrenaline gets like drained in the final portion of the fight, or like anytime. And then obviously the 2H gives you access to better abilities, like you can switch to it and get access to Hurricane and like Cleave for more strong basics and stuff. So that is very helpful. But then for the required items in the inventory, you can see there are 4. We have a power burst of acceleration. We use this as soon as phase 1 is over. We use the power burst and then we surge dive a bunch of times to the phase 3 area. And we just use this to be getting there as fast as possible and then setting up our dummy. And then since we got there so fast, we have a lot of time to use abilities on the dummy while Araxxor is walking to us. So definitely be bringing this. It is 100% required. You also need some kind of adrenaline potion. I would probably use a renewal, but honestly an enhanced replenishment pot is probably good as well. And then you can see we do have 2 combat dummies. We have a bunch of them in our preset just so you can do multiple kills without banking, but we do have 2 in our preset shown, and that's because we want to place a dummy as soon as we get to the end of the pathway to phase 3. We put a dummy down, and then we use a few abilities on it, which we'll show you here in the kill. But then we dismantle that dummy, and once you dismantle that dummy, it allows you to place another one. So then once you get into the final phase, you can put down another dummy in there. This, again, isn't required, but putting that dummy in the final phase will definitely give you a lot of time to build up adrenaline and use like a barge on it to be immediately starting your final phase with like an assault or something like that. So I find 2 dummies is very helpful, but you could get away with just one of them. But yeah, that's the preset. I would honestly try to copy this as closely as possible because it does help out the consistency quite a bit. All right, so finally to go over the perks here. They're pretty standard perks, but as you can see, we do have just Relentless and Crackling, and then we also have Biting 4. I would really suggest trying to get Biting 4 for this method. We want to be boosting our critical strike chance up as high as possible, basically to be making it as consistent as possible. So I would highly suggest getting that if you're going to get any of the expensive perks. And then for the legs, we pretty much just have Impatient. That's really all you need on that. For the weapons, we have, again, standard perks, just Precise 6. We don't even have good perks on our main hand, it looks like. But yeah, just Precise 6 and then Aftershock with Eruptive. These are just really good perks. If you're using a spear, lunging is pretty good as well. But again, you don't really need the lunging switch. But yeah, those are the perks. Again, pretty standard perks. All right, guys. So today I am going to be showing you a relatively simple method to be getting a 2-minute Araxxor kill with melee. This is a fairly straightforward method, but there are a few things you're going to need to pull this off. The first thing is going to be 2 combat dummies, and you make sure you have at least 2 of these, because we put one down after we surge all the way across path 1, and then you want to make sure you dismantle that dummy so you can place another one down in the final area. If you have the dummy still active over here, it won't despawn and you're not able to place a second one, so make sure you're dismantling it. So once you're ready to start up the fight, we just rejoin the instance here, and then we will go over to immediately be burning the web. And then we just stand around until it's at about 63% burnt. And then at 63% burn, we will use our Dragon Battle Axe special attack. So you can see we just stand around. You don't have to attack Araxxor. You can use maybe a few defensives if you want. Did that pretty quick. But yeah, just use some defensives, do whatever, block the special attacks until it's at 63%. And then at 63%, we'll use the power burst to get all the way across into phase 3 as fast as possible. And then we will place down our dummy, use our Berserk, Adren Pot, use Barge on the dummy, and then use Fury on it and dismantle it. And then we will go over Surge to Araxxor, Bleed our Assault, Chaos Roar our Overpower, and that should phase it. So you can see here, we're at 65%, so we will Dragon Battle Axe spec, and then build back up to 120% here. So just build up here. I don't have room in my inventory, interesting. Yeah, just build up to 120%. As you can see, we're at 120, and then we will Power Burst to be getting all the way across the arena here. Place down our dummy, make sure it's in the final phase. We will Zerk a pot here, barge into the dummy, Fury, lead our assault here, Chaos Roar Overpower, and it should pretty much nuke it. You can also use like a claw spec here if you need to at the end, but you should get it with the Overpower. And since we dismantled the dummy, we should be able to put another one out here. You can see we put a dummy down, and then we just build back up on this dummy here. And then we get ready to barge on it. So we will barge on the dummy, get ready to use our flurry on Araxxor here, and then we will use Destroy and apparently walk out of range somehow. That's interesting. Really don't like how they changed these abilities, but whatever. And now we will Fury, overpower. See, it used a spider special. Interesting. We will kill this mirror bag. And now we will just kill Araxxor here at the end. That was pretty sloppy at the end. We got a 210. Definitely not the fastest kill in the world, but yeah, made a few mistakes there at the end. And we got a leg piece. Okay. So yeah, that's how we do a 2-minute Araxxor kill. Obviously, if you guys watched, you could probably tell that you could definitely improve on the final phase. I was just kind of using random abilities. You could definitely get something a little bit more consistent with like Lang specs and claw specs in there. But I was just making it very simple and not really doing anything crazy on the final phase. So definitely keep that in mind, that you could easily improve on my final phase at least. That's not really the important part of this kill, but yeah, hopefully you guys like this video and you use this method to be getting some very fast Araxxor kills. And if you did find this video helpful, be sure to drop a like on it. It does help promote the channel. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.